Hey guys, it's Ricardo here, and this is the first proper episode of my little guide to world building, which is good fun. Today I'm going to talk about first of all the setting you want to get down. You know, the whole premise and the plot and the story structures and ideas and all that. And I'm also going to talk a bit about the geography of the world you want to create. So first of all, setting. It's the most important thing behind your world, obviously, because there's a whole multitude of settings. There's this fantasy and sci-fi and all the other overarching genres, and then within them there's high fantasy, Lord of the Rings, low fantasy, Game of Thrones, space opera, Firefly, Star Trek, Star Wars. I'm probably going to get executed for saying that, but hey. Then there's, steampunk, there's cyberpunk, there's grimdark stuff like Warhammer 40k, there's diesel bunk, which is good, or the bunks, a lot of bunks, it's a good word, and all sorts of stuff like that. So, really, before you begin making anything like the cultures and the societies and anything else, you really gotta get down what you really want it to be about in a more overarching sense. You want it to be you fucking love lasers. Say I love lasers. Anyone who doesn't love lasers should not be allowed to live. But so you want to do a space opera, you want to have your characters touring the galaxy, meeting aliens and all that good stuff. I mean, who wouldn't want to meet aliens? Say you want, more fantasy approach, you want elves and orcs and dragons and all that awesome stuff. And then say you want to take the ideas behind fantasy, you want a more like humanistic, so like low fantasy stuff, where it's just about people, fighting against each other and resolving conflicts and all that. So there's a really deep wealth of knowledge and ideas that you can really take note from around existing literature to get your ideas. Obviously you don't want to just take the same old idea that people have done a million times and do something based on that. So you don't want to just rewrite Game of Thrones. You don't want to, change the names from Westeros to whatever and just basically rebrand all the characters. You really wanna make it your own. I mean, this is your baby. Basically, you gotta do with it what you wanna do. Just be original. You gotta just take the idea and just run with it. You gotta create your own universe based around that single idea, which is tough. I mean, it's really quite difficult to create a good universe, but when you do, it's amazing. Second thing I wanted to talk about, because I don't want these videos to be too short, is 3.5 minutes ish, is the geography. I mentioned this in the introduction because personally for me it's probably one of my favourite parts of world building, but it's different for everyone. But geography is really important to create a believable world, because I mean, obviously you want your world to be fun and adventurous and all that, but you also want it to seem like it could be a real world that people could live in. So then within that there's all sorts of stuff. There's your continents, obviously, your land masses, your weather. Like some parts of your world are obviously gonna have different weather than other parts. That didn't make sense, but sorry. Like take what I'm working on right now as an example. Let me just grab it. Here it is. This is a little world called Oscagua. I made this map a couple days ago, just writing it out, and there's continent to the west, which is, you know, the human main settlement. Then to the east there's a little place called Doxahi, which is basically where the elves, I guess, this version of elves live. And you know, because a big part of this setting is, as again, you got to think all of this in terms of the setting you want to create. So in this setting, you know, there's a lot of tension more than conflict between the humans and the elves. But I don't want to call them elves because, you know, it seems, you know, like just a Tolkien ripoff. They're called Dok Alfar in this. I mean, you know, you don't want to make up just some stupid name like Jbzhule, but it's basically Icelandic for dark elves. But yeah, no. So you gotta make the geography fit with the setting, if you know what I mean. Like, if you wanted, say, I wanted the dark elves and the humans to really hate each other, I'm not gonna put them both on the same continent. Or, I mean, you can, but it's in this particular case, it follows the geography such that, you know, they're on different continents, they're separated, they've been completely isolated, you know, for millennia, so they grow up different, they're completely different cultures. So then that different geography facilitates the different cultures of the races, which is very important, I think. Then, you know, the world's dotted with islands and other smaller land masses, so it really allows a huge amount of diversity to build up in the world. You know, there can be bits with no life, there can be bits with completely undiscovered life, because this is for an RPG, so maybe, you know, the characters could go land on an island, discover a completely new race. You never know, so, you know, because it's obviously up to the players. So basically, for an RPG, you want your map to have as much opportunity as possible. You want your world to be able to be explored and uncovered, you know, by the players. You don't necessarily want to force them to go to every single place, but say they're at a bar and they hear word about an island with buried treasure on it or whatever, then they can just casually go over, get some treasure, you know, fight some stuff, all that good stuff that players love to do, and just pop back. So it's all about the freedom and the diversity of the world, because the thing with world building is you're not creating a linear structure, you're creating a huge branching, radiating world, which is why it's world building. You know, you're not just building, you know, events, you're building all this possibility for events, and the connection between them is completely up to you or the players, depending on whether it's a story or a RPG. But it just helps so much to have this idea of all the different things that you could do. Like, say you're writing a story and you've got, you know, where your characters are moving along in relation to the geography of the world, then you see a little island and you think, hey, I can, you know, slip that in there, I could talk about that for a bit. Or like there's this little peninsula maybe, and they go and do something there for a bit, you know, just to sort of break it up, because, I mean, yeah, it's a really good way to inspire, I suppose, little events. Okay, so thanks for listening. It's been about 9 minutes of my shitty voice, but hey, if you're still listening right now, then there's something wrong with you, or something right with me, hopefully the latter. I'll make another video soonish. Next time I'm going to be talking about all the different races and different, you know, species and cultures and stuff that you could have in your universe, which is, it's great. Okay, thanks for listening. I'll see you later.